like a ton of bricks. Doesn't matter, weak or strong. Take your time and do your tricks. All I do is sing along. Yeah, I need you around for brighter light and firmer ground. When you believe in me, love is gonna set me free.
Good evening and good evening and good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul podcast. Well, let me tell you, tonight you're going to be favored by some half of the crew of Trust the Process and the visionary Dr. Mary J. Huntley. These ladies are on fire. So we are happy to be here tonight. And Dr. Huntley, thank you so much for saying your yes, even with this project. I'm just so glad to have you ladies here with me tonight. Sisterhood. I've been like sisterhood all weekend, so I am favored, and we're going to talk and dig deep about trusting the process and how this all came to head. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
Happy
so
to be
very
here.
welcome. Glad to have you, Lisa. It's been a while since you've been on, but hey, that's how it goes. So that's how it goes. So like we haven't seen each other in a while, but you know, it's all virtual hugs here and virtual love. So I'm going to start with the visionary, Dr. Mary J. So Dr. Mary J., I just want to say I thank you again for this vision. I thank you for pouring into us as well. And this book is going to be phenomenal to pour into others. So the first question I'm going to lead this to you is, what was the purpose and how did this come about for the Trust the Process and reaping the harvest?
First of all, thank you, Michelle, for having us. We appreciate the fact that you are sharing your phenomenal platform with us this evening, and we surely don't take you for granted, but we surely appreciate the fact that we get to hang out with you today and just kind of share with the audience and just let them know the purpose behind Trust the Process. How did it come about? As I've said earlier, it's actually an assignment. It came about as an assignment. I knew I wanted to do an anthology, but with me, it's always the right timing to do what it is I'm called to do, because to do the right thing at the wrong time is surely not successful. So if I allow purpose and destination to connect, which is what I did with this, it gives me what I need. So the assignment was, okay, life is life and things are going on. People are getting stuck here. You may get stuck there. How can we go about helping individuals? So
Yeah,
that's what we do.
You said something key. You said something key. You said something very key. You know, even when you say about trusting the process, timing, you know, because sometimes in this we can jump far ahead, but I always take accountability is that if we move out of sync of the time, we're going to mess that whole plan up, whatever else that can actually alter what we're going to have for our harvest that was meant to be in that specific time. So I just love it. So, you know, that was the idea. You took it as an assignment. So I'm going to ask you introduce yourselves to some of the co-authors. So I'm going to look how it is on my window here. So with Lisa, what unique strength did you find as a co-author to bring to this collaboration?
You know, and I don't know if it's a strength, but I realized something. And it's something that I don't do often enough. And I think sometimes none of us do, but I actually realized that I am trusting the process more than I thought I was. I mean, a lot of times you get into things and you feel like you're fighting and this is not going to happen. But I'm kind of giving myself a pat on the back that I rarely do. I'm usually pretty hard on myself, but I'm giving myself a pat on the back because this project actually helped me to realize how many times I've actually had to trust the process in something. And I did. I actually believed in it. It didn't seem like it at the time because it was difficult or whatever, but I stayed the course. So it gave me a minute to kind of say, you did that. I know there's a song out there that says that. I was like, you did that, right? But that's what it helped me to realize. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, next, moving down to Dr. Jennifer Jones Bryant.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat the question, please?
So the question for you is for the whole panel: what unique strength did you, as I know you were the forward author, bring forth for the collaboration? How would you find your strength in this?
So my strength in this was, or continue to be, is to be laser focused and to be strategic, right? And so that was my focus, right? And so there are other areas of opportunities, right? In which you're trying to deepen certain strength areas, and patience is one, right? Like actually trusting the process to reap the harvest for this project, right? And being patient. And sometimes we want things to happen. I think Dr. Mary covered it in her first question. We want things to happen now, right? We want that microwave situation to just happen, right? We want that beef to go off in a minute and everything to be hot when you got some macaroni and cheese and the macaroni and cheese is thick, right? You know, I'm gonna come with some crazy analogy, and you got to take that and break it on down, right? And put it in for a little while longer. So seriously though, when you are a program manager or you are a project manager and you are focused on end-to-end processes, and you have in your mind certain things to go accordingly, and then sometimes it don't, right? Sometimes it does not, but it's also teaching you something about yourself in any process. All of us have countless examples that we can pull up and call out, of things that we wanted to happen now, and to be hot and ready, right? Hot and ready, like Little Caesar, hot and ready. But we have to just sit back and we have to wait for the process. So being laser focused, being strategic, and then also leveraging patience and just being quiet. There's a lot of power in silence. There's a lot of power in silence. And you just sit in your observation booth and you just watch all the moving parts.
Ooh. Did you catch that win? Silence. I want somebody to marinate that. Somebody put up there, marinate on that. Sometimes it's good to just sit in silence. And that is such a thing that so many people have so much hard time to do with all the noise, all the brain chatter. And look at it. We're saying we're trusting the process in this, but we're letting all this other stuff get in the way. So that's a good tip. Silence. Listen. Just take a time to listen, because then sometimes it helps that thinking mechanism when you just sit back and listen at times. So moving to my next lovely phenomenal lady, Dr. Rhonda, how are you? And the same question for you. Do you want me to repeat the question, which is, what was your unique strength that you did as a co-author during this collaboration process?
Yes, thank you so much for that. I love that question. Thank you so much for that question, Michelle. And thank you for having us. Well, let me tell you, Michelle, first of all, I said this before, when Dr. Mary calls you and says, hey, I would love for you to be a part of this project. First of all, you feel this amazing sense of, oh my goodness, thank you so much. You feel so blessed. And then when I joined the group and I saw the list of the other women who were involved in this project, I said, oh my goodness. So I just kind of remember thinking, did she call the right number? Did she? But I remember thinking, well, okay, so I get to contribute a chapter, and you go through that period where you're wondering, what am I going to write about? What about me is going to inspire others? And I remember just feeling like, you know what, Rhonda, you are good at just being you. Be authentic. Tell your unique story and know that it is going to impact others. So I felt like the thing that I brought to the table was just my own uniqueness and my own authenticity.
That is very important, because you know what? When you're genuine and authentic, that whole trust process will go more easier. Now, if you had just went on and spittled on along in it, because I've seen some people, and we have, come on, can I get an amen on the corners here?
Yes,
But
yes,
sometimes we
amen.
have been in some collaborations where it's not been, and we see the process. So
We ain't going
Yeah.
down that street tonight.
no, we're not. We
No.
know.
Not going
Trust
in.
the process.
But for those of you who are looking to collaborate, one of the key things that you do, you're going to have to trust the process and make sure that the process that you're trusting is a true and authentic process. So yeah, you're right. We could be on here for 50 hours for that, but I know we just, that's a whole lot of time on that one. But so I'm going to go back and for myself, because that's funny. I got to interview myself because I'm a part of this too, right? So for me, with the trust in the process, it made me bring out so much stuff that from the past as well, but it made me look back and review where I'm going. So even in that time frame of that, I still have to trust, because I know this is what's going to be happening through the part, because the harvest is coming. But I just, we just got to hold on a little bit. But it made me reflect back to where I was, and thank God I'm not there anymore. I had pressed forward. So that's something else that we have to do in that journey. So the next question, Dr. Huntley, I'm going to go back with this with you. When this collaboration, the idea came about, and like you said, you seek the counsel, you hear from the Father, you run with the story, you run with the storyline, and like you said, it's divine assignment. And just explore a little bit with the audience about when the assignment comes, because sometimes the assignment comes not when we feel comfortable in that comfortable position, right? That comfortable position. Yeah. So can you explain? Because I think that's very key for us, even in this part realm of trusting the process. It's very key that sometimes it ain't gonna be that hokey dory, yay, woo-sa, when we're trusting the process. But you don't want to abort the assignment.
Wow, Michelle, you just said a whole mouthful and took me to my post today that reminded us to faith it and we will make it. In essence, that's exactly what you said. You get an assignment. Okay. Do I have all the tools I need to fulfill the assignment? What direction do I need to head in? Because usually certain people are assigned in specific things. I don't always know. But one thing about it, somehow those individuals find their way. The connection comes through prayer and listening to what's said. So it's interesting you said that, because we trust the Creator. As I said, and I'm trying to recall it, I think I recall it, to the post, to say we don't always have the strategic words and strategies, but one thing we do know is that we trust God, because He's the Creator and He knows who's supposed to be here. So it's up to me to believe Him and just faith to trust. And the connections, how will I know that's my connection? Because the spirit and the service and the servanthood they bring will register here.
That's
and
right.
we will be able to collaborate in the same arena and get the job done. For me personally, and I pray that this is received in the same way I give it. I've said it to Dr. Jennifer on several occasions. This collaboration is not about the money for me. It's about getting individuals to the goal line, which is a part of the process. Because there are two individuals who had not had the opportunity to connect. I knew they needed to be a part of it, but I had to wait for them to realize this is your stop. You need to get on here. It wasn't about forcing them. If you know you need to connect and you know you need to be here, that connection and that part is up to you. There was no question that Dr. Jennifer needed to be the forward author. She'd have had the conversation. Nope. God, who do you want here? Who else? Who handpicked? And that this story may sound far-fetched to some people, but this is my lifestyle. It's not about me doing what I want. I'm a servant, which means I carry out his orders. It's just like I'm in the military. What's my orders for the day, God? Do I always get it right? 2 hands, 2 feet? No. Do I always get it right? No. But I'm a servant in his army to carry out his orders. So it's, as you say, you don't always have it. You don't always know. But if you wait and if you trust the process, and I continue to trust it right here, right now, waiting on some pieces to solidify right now. But I know he said it, and it's got to come to pass.
Yeah.
So it's the faith piece. And thank you for keeping that up. Faith it till I make it. And that's what we'll all do. It's amazing that I posted that maybe about 2 hours ago, I think. But faith in him, that's the only way, because it can't depend on me. I must do my part. I must give you all 200%. Even sometimes when I don't feel like it, I have to give my 200%. But it's about bringing him glory.
That's it.
It's about bringing God glory. So, yeah, it's a mysterious piece just going, Lord, I don't even know where I'm going. Abraham, where you go? God, I don't know. Leave your country. Leave your family. God, where am I going? Abraham said, I don't know, God. Where do you need me to go? But did he get where he needed to go? He did. So it's kind of thing. Trust. And the last thing that I'll say about that piece, Michelle, is about trusting God when you seem not to be able to trace him. It looks dark over there, but I know he said it. He's in here somewhere. He's in somewhere. Doesn't feel like it, doesn't look like it, but my faith tell me he's here.
Yes.
That's about the trust in the process. And thank you for that very important question.
That you know I was gonna bring it some kind of way. Sometimes we do it off of that. How the spirit wind flow. You know how it goes. So as you said, this is gonna go to another question to the panel. And I'm gonna start with you, Lisa. Just like you said, what Dr. Huntley just said about, there were some who may not felt that their time is ready. But, you got to navigate through the differences and the challenges during the collaboration process. For one who wants to take a part of the process of collaborating, navigate through the differences. Had it been something that even with this that you experienced, Lisa?
There I go exercising my shut up, right? Well, especially with a collaboration, there are many areas in the process where you just got to trust, because anything can happen during a process like this. And I think, to what Dr. Mary was saying, that it's amazing how when you actually start to do projects like this, you can actually see the alignment without anyone saying anything. Because a lot of times people are connecting that, maybe haven't met each other before, but somehow when you share a space with them in a collaboration, it all seems to make sense. And I've learned that over the years, which makes me, I love collaborations because of that. Because then you start to kind of feel out, your tribe sometimes, or your people, like, who do I connect with, and where do we have like minds? And collaborations like this kind of keep me in sync, keep me aligned with my focus, as all of you talked about it, staying focused, Dr. Jennifer, with your goals. And when you come into situations like this and collaborations, it does keep you focused on the goal long term, because you will say yes. I felt the connection immediately. It was as I say, it was an easy button. I'm learning to know when to use my yeses and when to use my nos. I'm not always good at it, but when Dr. Mary was talking about, just acts of service, because that's the way I move, it's making more sense the more that you all talk, the more that we answer your questions, Michelle, and I'm just starting to see, okay, so that was why too. That's why too. So yeah, my questions are being answered internally as I listen to these collaboration and the interviews. It's amazing how it happens. I can't even put it into words.
Yeah. Dr. Rhonda, the same question goes for you too.
Do you mind repeating the question? I want to make sure I understand it correctly.
So it's like when you navigate through differences or challenges, when you come a part of a book collaboration, during a collaboration process, have you experienced, what type of experience did you have, even within your challenges within yourself?
One of the things that I appreciate about collaborations and doing anthologies, I love how I love God's character, and I love how he works, and I love how this is a project made up of a bunch of different people's stories, and yet each person had a unique contribution about a significant thing or incident or experience that happened in their lives. And God hand selected each one of us and brought all of us together for such a time as this. And each story, each of our stories, like I'm gonna speak just for me, something that happened to me that I didn't even think was significant. Something that happened so long ago, while I was going through it, remembering and feeling like, why is this happening to me? Literally, like on the floor of my office, bawling my eyes out, feeling like this is the worst day of my life. This is the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. And me taking and God saying, I'm going to use that, and it's going to help so many other people. And so when you talk about the challenges and the differences, making sure that I remember, and Dr. Mary knows this, I've been throughout this journey since I, first of all, I heard this title and it resonated with me instantly. And just like Dr. Lisa talked about, we have to be selective in what we say yes to, right? We have to be selective. And so there were some times when there were some things that I also said no to, but this resonated with me instantly. And so now, as I'm going throughout my day, my week, I trusted the process in this instance. I am trusting the process. Taking those challenges, taking our differences, our individual differences, and being able to come together because God selected each one of us to make up this anthology project has been awesome.
Yes, it has. Now, Dr. Jennifer, I'm going to go with you with a next new question. What do you feel is the most rewarding aspect of working together on this project?
Oh my goodness. The most rewarding aspect, and I think it was covered in terms of the unique contribution that each person brings and the impact, but I'm going to take it further. If you think about it, and Dr. Mary, you could correct me, you're talking about what, 13, 14 folks in the book, right? And so if you take that and you think about the force multiplication of that, and you may ask, what do I mean? Well, if you take 13 or 14 authors and you multiply it by their network. Let's say each of us assume 5,000 people. That's potentially 70,000 people that we can reach without even ever seeing these people.
Right.
We have access to various networks. We got access to different diverse audiences. That is the reward. It's exponential, right? Growth. And it is an explosion, right? It is an elevation. It is the ability to help others to reap the harvest. That's the harvest piece of it, right? Because we want this book to serve as a tool, a navigation tool in life, through life. Because life is going to give you a whole bunch of challenges. It's going to get you a whole bunch of rewards, and both can happen at the same time, right? But this will serve as a navigation tool to say, if they can make it, so can I.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just think about the impact of a single book with 13 or 14 authors and how it can impact so much more to the carnal eye. Because people may say, oh, it's just that number. No, 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 no. You're talking about potentially impacting 70,000 lives. And once you get it out there on the social media, right, it could potentially impact more who want to join your network, or when you're out and about, there's more. So it goes back to whatever those challenges are. And we talked about that earlier in this interview. All of that goes out the window because your why got to be much greater and bigger and larger than those challenges.
You so right. You so right. And you staring me right to where I want to say about, for me, for this, for the collaboration. See, I don't know, maybe like 5 months ago, I don't know if anybody remember that I always talk about this mindset, because again, I'm always in the mindset of serving others, and that's my capacity. But one of the things is that, like you said, if your network, you don't know if your network is over there in China somewhere, because I have a global mindset. And that's the type of thing that we have to have when you're taking on trusting the process. This is just not for you. You have to make a global impact, because isn't that what he did? He made a global, worldwide impact. So it's to the number degree, because it's a chain reaction, because somebody at one different point of the time, like they always say, there's always somebody lurking in the time frame. So in the midnight hour, somebody might pick this book up way on the other side and then say, hey, I needed to hear that, and then come back to it. But that's what it is. You got to have a global mindset, but you also got to keep continuing trusting, even in that, when we're reaping the harvest, because again, what we do is in service is just not for us, it's for others. So that's the important thing that I liked about it. That's rewarding for me. It's very rewarding when somebody said, I read your story and that impacted me so much that, I was in the same way, because everything that we go to, it makes me also to reflect, everything that we go through is not for us anyway. It's not for us. It's to share that story, to go on and help others, because trust me or not, somebody got that same problem. Somebody might be financially going through, but they can look back at your story when you was broke with 2 donuts, and broke with 2 donuts, and say, wow, look at this impact. If it can happen for her, it can happen for me as well. So, that's what I like about it too. So I'm going to start. Dr. Mary, what advice would you give to other authors considering a collaboration?
Wow, that when I saw that question, I'm like, where do we start? First and foremost, important for me is to know that I'm embarking upon the proper assignment. Know that this is my assignment. In other words, sometimes individuals will come to you and say, oh, you need to do A, you need to do B, you need to do C.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But am I the person for this assignment right here, right now? Because if I go out of season, I won't get the best results.
Right.
But when all things are aligned, I won't have problem finding the people. The resources will come. I may not be able to see them right here in my hand, but trust me, when I need them at the opportune time, they will come and they will be there. So I must know that I'm in my lane, not assigned by anybody else. My lane, it's mine. Why? Because it'll never get crowded in my lane. I'll have the tools, I'll have the inventory, and I will have the alignment. So for anyone considering a collaboration, first and foremost, just know that that's what you're supposed to do at this time. Secondly, it's important to have the right team. Allow individuals to work together in their lane. We don't need to micromanage anyone, but allow your team to serve where they're called to serve. Thirdly, be sure that you are targeting the audience that you need to, that you should be. Who you called to? Why are you writing? Just to write a book? Not quite enough. It needs to be targeted to a specific audience somewhere. Who's waiting for my answer? Who's waiting for what I have to say? For all of you all have to say. And I'm just grateful to be able to say that somebody everywhere is waiting for some of these pieces to drop right here, because they have been challenged with the same situation somehow. Someone's mortgage has been challenged, the same as Dr. Jennifer's was. Some bank somewhere is tying up somebody's stuff, saying, oh, what? You think I'm gonna pay this much? Oh no, I'm not paying this much interest. No. So let me get this story out here. Somebody has an unemployment or employment situation. Dr. Rhonda, what? What? God, you called me to this job, and then you just gonna leave me looking foolish? God, what takeaway? What is the lesson here? Lisa, you've been sent to write this story, to write this or whatever, and then this shuts down. God, where do I go? What do you think I'm, God, where are you sending me now? Because this is shut down, so what do I need to do? A plot twist. Michelle, what? God, you take me from not having this home to going into several homes and sharing my story. So all of your stories, we already know. Somebody's waiting. Globally, as we say. So for that person, just be sure you have the right assignment. It's your assignment. Don't allow somebody to call you and allow you to end up looking foolish. Please don't do that. There's a way to find out. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, but watch out for the alignment. I waited. I mentioned it to Lisa, I think a year or two ago, that I was supposed to do a collaboration, but it just came along. She's the witness. It's written in black and white. I wouldn't move until peace was my umpire, as we say. So just know that you have the right assignment, because after that, it pretty much should be go, if you will. That's the most important. Know it's your time. Time, season, purpose, and focus are the most important words. It's my time. It's my season. I'm laser focused, and I'm walking in my purpose. Time, season, purpose, focus. Those are the 4 key words, Michelle.
All right. All right, you heard it. Time, season, focus, and purpose. And you know what? That's it. Those are the tools. Those are the tools. Time, season, focus, and purpose. That's very important. Very important. So now I'm going to go to each one. I guess I'll start since this with me. So for each one of us are going to take either the word trust or process, and we're going to give the audience what that means to us. You can choose either trust or the process. So for me, I'm going to take process. And when I look at it, I look at the processing factor. You know, you get your ingredient, right? So you get your ingredient, and then sometimes you got to add a little bit of additives or whatever else, some seasoning to it in order to make it perfect, right? But then sometimes you can add the season to it, and it just might not quite be. You might have to don't follow the steps directly for you want to reap what that taste is going to be, right? So that's how I look at the process. Even when in the thing of life, you're going to have a whole lot of added ingredients, but not necessarily all those ingredients going to mix and blend perfectly. So you might have to add some more and go back and add a little bit more into your life. Now, what you going to add? Is it going to be a spice of life or a spice of not right? So you got to have to choose that when it all mixed in that blend. So that's how I look at it, the process, when you talking about process. And every process ain't always going to be perfect, because you know what? You go to the grocery store, you see some damaged goods sometimes, right? So that's how I look at trust in the process. Just make sure that you don't have damaged goods whenever you go through this process. Lisa, the same question for you. Are you going to choose trust or process? And what does it mean to you?
You're on mute.
I'm on a roll with this, ain't I? I'm going to choose the word trust. And for me, that word means to believe. And I'll take it a step further, and to believe that whatever is supposed to happen will happen. So it's not just about trusting the process the way I chose to see it, or trusting the process based on what I thought was going to happen. To truly trust the process is to be, ready. So stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Is a form of trust in the process, because whatever happens, whatever the pivot is, whatever the flex is, if it goes in the opposite direction, if you're actually trusting the process, then you'll start to kind of decide that this is part of it. A lot of times we decide that something is not part of the journey because it didn't follow the suit, the way we wanted it to. And we're like, oh, that wasn't on the path I was thinking of. This wasn't supposed to happen. But if you're trusting it, I think you understand that, no, this was actually part of it. It's uncomfortable. It might be painful. It might be just in the wrong direction. But believe it or not, sometimes you can be going right, and then somehow you end up going to the left, and you're thinking that doesn't make sense. But there was a reason that happened, because maybe you needed to pick something up along the way and then continue on the journey. So that's what trust means for me. And it's about believing that what will be, will be.
Yes, yes, yes. Dr. Jennifer, trust or process?
I am going to be on trust as well, right? And I love that you selected those two words, because they kind of like blend in with one another. But I will go with trust. And trust for me it means having confidence in the journey. While uncertain, you still got to have confidence in the journey. Understanding that success often requires patience, which I talked about earlier, resiliency, and continuous effort.
Mm-hmm.
And it also means that trust isn't always linear. And I think Lisa just talked about that. It's not always a straight line.
That's right.
It could be a zigzag path, and there will be setbacks, and there will be slow periods of time. But knowing in the end that your goal will get achieved, you have to hold on to the unseen. I had to blow because that was part of the patience. and keeping your composure. And here's the other piece about trust that we don't talk about often. And I think that's why we lose patience. Is that we got to learn to trust ourselves. We become so reliant upon trusting others, what others are going to do. We got to have faith and be kind to ourselves, show ourselves grace, minimize that control effort that we like to have, and just trust ourselves that we'll be okay. We'll come to the right answer. It will be okay. So I go with trust.
All right.
Ooh, child.
So I look. Ooh, she look.
You take that back, Dr. Jennifer. Don't be telling me about that control. No, I'm just kidding. That's a big one. Oh,
am I stepping on toes?
That's a big one. You take that back right now. No, I'm just kidding.
This is good. Ladies, this is really good. This is some real, it's tight, but it's right. As you know, it's tight, but it's right. And you said it. Ouch. You know, sometimes we got to learn to trust ourselves, because you're gonna have to reframe that dynamic, because you know, infant stages, we always had to depend on mama and daddy, but sometimes we go back to them stages when we don't have enough, because something has interceded us within to make us feel like we need that extra help. But we got to really pull into to trust ourselves. You're right. That's profound. Dr. Rhonda, for you, trust or process?
Great question. And let me tell you, I was like, which one? Both are like equally great, but I am going to choose process. And I'll tell you why. Something a lot of people may not know is I love sweets. I crave sugar like crazy. I should be 1,000 pounds how much I eat sugar. But God in his grace. So because I love sugar, I love to bake. When I think about the word process, I realize that process requires steps, procedures that have to be taken in order so that you can get the desired result. For example, your harvest. For me and my amazing sweet tooth, I love to bake. When I bake cupcakes, cookies, pies, brownies, cakes, I have to make sure that I am doing the actions and the steps in order. I cannot do them out of order. I can't, put the stuff in the, I have to mix it. I have to put the ingredients in order. I have to mix it the proper number of minutes. I have to put it in the oven at the right temperature. If I leave anything out, I'm not going to get my desired result. So when I think about the word process, Rhonda, you have to go through the process in the right order, taking the necessary steps that God is allowed, the necessary seasons, the necessary paths, the necessary opportunities, whatever that is for us or our listeners, so that we could get what God is bringing us to, leading us to, guiding us to. So that's what I think about when I think about process. I had to throw in my analogy with the sweets because that just came to me naturally.
So Dr. Rhonda, between your sweets and my macaroni and cheese, we on to something.
Right, exactly.
You live right around the corner, so I can know.
I think we might have a little potluck going on.
Yes.
But look how amazing this is what I want to share. I don't know if anybody, maybe you listeners or you viewers out here watching. Now, see, me and Rhonda we hadn't even spoken about, we both chose the process and we both did the analogy. See, that's what happened when you had that perfect alignment of a team that you're working in together. That just showed proof right there.
That's right.
We just came through with the same similar analogies of blending stuff together, mixing stuff together, and she chose process just as well as I did. Had no idea.
That's right.
This is just proof that when you're on alignment and when it's strategically planned and when you're honoring what God wants, he will put it all together just as smooth. And that was smooth. That was blended. We had no idea. But
That's
look,
right.
that's just proof of trusting the process, and then you'll reap the harvest. Somebody might need that tonight, because I'm telling you, sometimes we got to learn to trust ourselves and, make sure that you're doing, like she said, putting all those ingredients together. Don't go out of order. Don't go out of order. That's it. Follow.
And you can't leave anything out. That's the other thing.
That's it.
You're like, well, God, I don't want to go through this part of the process.
No.
But that's necessary.
He's telling you to walk over that bridge. But no, it's too limber for me to walk over that bridge. Okay. Your harvest sitting right there a little bit right above. It might be walking right under your feet, because I'm gonna tell you, yesterday I reaped some harvest, some money fell right down at my feet. I jumped out the car. Reaped the harvest. That was a harvest. I got lunch. But I'm just saying, sometimes you gotta step outside the box, but you gotta learn to trust yourself in all things, because it says in all things acknowledge him and he will direct your path. So that's it. I know what he wants me to reap the harvest, because he's already told me so, that there's a lot of abundance by just listening and staying focused. Like you said, there's time. It says it, Ecclesiastes, everything, time, seasons. We might not want to go through that rainy season, but that's a part of the harvest. That's a part of the harvest. You'll appreciate it better when you get the harvest. That's one of the things. You will appreciate it better when you get it. Season, focus. Don't lose focus. These distractions come to make you lose focus. What they say, put that breastplate, put that thing up, put those defenses up. Those are those type of things. And purpose. Don't go off the road of what your purpose is, because again, somebody is always linked to your purpose, because it's somebody waiting for you. Somebody's attached to you if this is the assignment. So just remember it. Don't abort the assignment. So I can't believe we're almost ready to leave from here. But, I know what it says. What did you learn from this collaboration that you might apply to future projects? Because I know there's future projects. I know Lisa got one. Dr. Huntley, I know you'll have another one. Jennifer, I know you have another one. Rhonda, I know you're going to have another one. All of us, So learning, what thing would you take away that you learned from this project to help you with other projects? Just that one thing. Dr. Huntley, I'll start with you.
Wow, there's so many. Where do I start? What one thing that I learned? I think what resonated for me most was the fact that I knew I was enough, if you will, but listening in the past, and sometimes we say, "Oh, I can't do that. Oh no, they can do that better than I." But again, once the alignment that I needed came, I realized that was what I needed, and I could then start where I needed to start. So accepting the timing and accepting the assignment. But it's like we said, I think I'm saying what we just said. Once the process was in place, then I could get out of the starter block, if you will.
All right.
That was very important.
Dr. Jennifer, the same question for you.
I will say effective communication. Effective communication that aligns with the team towards a common goal, which will reap a harvest of a cohesive final product. As I've said before, it is a masterpiece. So you'll see the cohesion that is weaved throughout the book from the cover all the way to the end. So effective communication is what I would say.
Okay, effective communication, correct. Dr. Rhonda, the same for you. The same question goes for you as well.
What I learned from this collaboration, I have a much deeper and broader understanding of what it means to trust the process. Only because since after writing that story and after working on this project and listening to some of the things that the other ladies have said, I feel like this is literally a constant reminder for me to trust the process. It's like it's ingrained in me now, to the point where I'll be listening to someone on the phone or talking church, and I'll be like, oh, guess what? So I'm writing this book, and I think this book will help, because what we were talking about leads to me encouraging them to trust the process. And so I just kind of feel like, okay, now this is a part of me now. This is part of my DNA now, to be able to just kind of have that have that with me all the time. So I feel like I just have a much broader and deeper understanding of what it means to trust. That it not in a way that it's cliche. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying this has really helped me to have a much deeper and broader understanding of what that actually means.
All right. Lisa, the same question goes for you as well.
Well, similar to what I started off sharing, is I think that this was a reminder to me that I am up for the challenge. You get a little nervous every time there's a new project. You never know how things are going to turn out. And to be honest with you, you're always going to run into some things that challenge the process. We could be in it right now, and the way I'm handling it, this project has helped me to stay focused, stay calm, and I think, Michelle, you even talked about reflecting on how this same process happened way back, and how I handled it, and the panic that arose, and you get flustered and you're frustrated, and when you start to go through it enough times, this book kind of reminded me that I'm up for the challenge. It's all good. And I receive all that comes. A lot of times we're not receiving it, but I receive all of it, and I'm learning to take it in stride. And that comes with, as Dr. Rhonda was saying, and everybody else, it comes with trust in the process. I think you'll notice people's energy is different when they actually are trusting the process. They don't get flustered. They deal with it. But it's a calmness about them. And I didn't always have that. I didn't. I'm going to confess. But this book has helped me to understand that that's where I'm going with this is a good thing. I'm learning to be up for the challenge, and I can do this. And I'm looking forward to this reminding others who are questioning whether they're even able to trust the process, not even know what that looks like. And I think this will remind them that, all of these people went through things that tested that. And look at them smiling. They're okay. They made it to the other side. Nothing weird happened that threw them off. So I think this will remind them that you can do this too. So.
Yeah. And for me, it's a quote that I always have in my room with my clients when I have stuff counseling going on, because they come in there and they be like, oh, it's really been a really hard time. But I always tell them, life is tough, but so are you. Mm-hmm. Life is tough, but so are you. You just got to trust the process. So, that's just something for a little bit for everyone. Life is tough. It didn't say it was going to be easy. I even think about that too. When they even tell you, when you come walking into giving your life over to Christ, they don't tell you that, you walk out there thinking, whoo, I don't know, it's all free now. They don't give you the trials and the tests that when it's gonna come, right? That you leave out happy door, everybody falling down, everybody, praising the whatever. But soon as you hit that door, a couple days later, something, they don't prepare you for that. But I just said, you're gonna have to trust the product. Life is tough, but so are you. It might act like the palm tree. Because when those hurricanes come through, 400 and 500-mile winds come up, what happens with it? It might bend, but it don't break. So, I want to say thank you, ladies, so much for coming on tonight. And look, audience, this is just half. We come back with next week with the other half, the other fire starters and shakers and movers, the global mindset team. And we're just so delighted to share. Pre-sales are going on right now. But, Lisa, Dr. Huntley, Rhonda, Dr. Jen, love you guys. I love you guys. Right. So I am excited. So audience, we have this daily mantra that we have here, and, we just enjoy everyone. Look these ladies up on social media, because this is a team of fire starters. I'm telling you, Jennifer, the fire thrower, Dr. Huntley, the process, Lisa, the power to shut up. Dr. Rhonda always got the mic, so she's somewhere with the mic. So, hey, this is a great resource. So again, we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and we look forward to you coming back next week, sharing, just hearing more of the journey of these awesome ladies, and trust the process with the visionary Dr. Mary J. Huntley. So again, until next week, if no one has told you that you are loved, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. Be blessed.